So what I want to talk about with you next is how we can customize the taxes that are going to be applied to our products. The good news is that out of the box, WooCommerce actually handles taxes pretty well as long as you've specified the settings in the WooCommerce settings tab. So if we go into WooCommerce and we go under the tax tab, and remember we had talked about some of these in a previous video, but this is where you can set your tax rates, and you can also specify different things in regards to the tax. If we go to standard rates, you can see that I've already have a standard rate set up for California, which is the state I'm in, and it's going to charge a 7.5% tax rate. I'm using the wildcard asterisk for both zip code and city so that it applies the straight 7.5% sales tax rate across any place in California. Now, in actuality, this isn't actually totally correct because the different cities and areas within California might have slightly higher or lower tax rates, but this is kind of an average tax rate. Again, I'm going to encourage you to do your research and find out what the tax is in your area where you actually have your store, because remember, you need to be applying taxes in the area that you have Nexus for. What I want to do is show you on the front end what this looks like when we actually purchase something. So I'm going to go to the front end portion of my website, and I'll go to my shop area, and we're just going to add a one product. I'm going to add one of my books for $10 because this will make our math really easy. So if I add this product and I click add to cart and it takes me into the cart, you can see that I now have an item that's been added to my cart. I'm going to click view cart, which is going to take me to the view cart page, and this is going to give me a summary of the product that I've ordered. In addition, it's going to tell me the current sales tax that's being applied, and it is indeed charging the 7.5%, which would give us 75 cents on $10. So that amount of tax is being applied, and I can proceed to checkout and complete the checkout process. In some cases, you might have a business where you're going to have different locations, multiple locations of the store, or perhaps you have a warehouse somewhere or something like that, and you might be required to charge a different tax rate. We're going to look at that. Currently, it's basing my checkout based on California. If I proceed to checkout and I fill in the information, and you can see that the information is populating with my information. It's taking this information because it remembers this from the cached area. But if I change my city and my state from San Diego to, let's say, Phoenix, Arizona, you can see that now the tax rate has disappeared because I'm no longer required to actually charge my customer tax if they're buying something that I am selling out of California and I'm shipping it to Arizona. So now you can see that the total has changed to $10. It's automatically subtracted the sales tax away. So this works great just right out of the box. But as I mentioned, what if there's a situation where I have my store in California, I'm doing online sales, but I also happen to have a warehouse or something like that in Arizona? In that case, I would be required to charge sales tax in Arizona as well. So we're going to go into WooCommerce and we're going to set up another standard tax rate. I'm going to go ahead and click Insert Row, and I will specify that this is going to be in the US and my state is going to be Arizona. And again, I'm just going to do a blanket zip code and city for all of Arizona. The tax rate currently, I think in Arizona is like 5.6%, but we'll just use that for our example. And we'll call this AZ sales tax for the name. Now you can see that currently I have priority for both of these set to 1. Now what the priority does is if we're entering multiple tax rates for a specific area, then we're going to need to prioritize them according to the relative importance. So in the field for priority, we'll set the priority for each numbered rate. In this case, because my priority is specific to location, a state in this case, I don't need to actually change these from 1. So I'm going to hit Save Changes, and let's see how this changes the checkout process of our store. I'm going to go back into my store right here, and I'll refresh. And you can now see that the tax that it's charging me is 75 cents. This is based on me being in California. If I change this to Arizona, and the city doesn't really matter because I just used the wild card, you can see that now the sales tax is going to change to 56 cents, which is getting it from our 5.6%. You can also see that it is showing me a new description. This is directly related to what we wrote right here. So if I want this to just say state tax like it did before, I could just change this, and if I update this, it'll change and update here as well, and now it'll just say state tax, and it won't matter what state we're in, it'll update. And you can see that if I go to a state where I don't have anything specified, I'm not going to pay any tax. So in this way, it's really easy to handle the taxes and have it calculate them appropriately.